Hello, everybody. It's 9:30, and here I am. I wanted to check in and see how y'all were this evening. I don't plan on staying real long because I'm pretty exhausted this evening, like I always am. So we'll do it for as long as we can. It's 9:30. Hi, Bonnie. How are you? Good to see you. Well, my house smells like Mexican food. I made Tex-Mex today and wore myself out trying to get it all done. But Mother and I enjoyed it. I didn't make a big slew like if we had the restaurant or something. I made a smaller batch, and the chili rellenos that I love so much. I didn't want. Hello, Grandma Teresa. Let me give me a little drink of iced tea here. Hi, Chris. So I started cooking about probably 2, I think, and then I didn't get through, and then I had to go to the grocery store for milk, and it's foggy, it's rainy, cold, and then I got back and finished up the chili rellenos and the Mexican rice. I'll put the matter of fact, the video's uploading, and then I'll check it and I'll have it on. But those chili rellenos, I love chili rellenos like that are made. I don't like them dipped in egg whites. I like them dipped in cracker meal. And so I just invented a chili relleno casserole, so I didn't have to go through all that. Now there's some, you have to work some. It's not real easy, but it's not real hard. It's basic stuff that any of us can do. And then the rice is basic, and I'll show you how to not stir it and what you need to do to it. Hi, Beverly White. Yes, Bonnie, glad you came. Chris, I'm okay. Exhausted as always, but I'm okay. I wonder I wonder what my answer would be if somebody asked and I wasn't exhausted. I don't know what I used to say when I wasn't exhausted. I think I probably just said I'm having a good day, or I'm having a good evening, or can't complain. And I can't complain because we've got it good, y'all, all of us. We're breathing. Bonnie, she's doing her laundry tonight, she told me. She said that she's going to her daughter's house tomorrow, Jan's, and maybe the granddaughter's on Tuesday. We still haven't tried her earphones or microphone out yet, but I imagine we'll get to that. It's just that, we're all busy people, or most of us are. I guess everyone here is a busy person. If I didn't stay busy, y'all, I would be so bored. I couldn't concentrate. So I can't concentrate anyway, but I'd rather concentrate and not be bored. That's the main issue. I was looking through some boxes, and I found some stuff that Ronnie Claire gave me. I've never used it, but I thought I would show it to y'all because a lot of you collect stuff like I do. She knew that I liked all the old movies, and so when she was at Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, or MGM, I think it's while she was working with one of the studios, somebody gifted her these. I have two of them. Let me take the glass domes off carefully. But this is Marilyn Monroe and 7-Year Itch. And they play the songs. The battery, and these are so old that I'm going to have to take them and have the batteries cleaned or fixed, or I can probably do it. It's just I haven't had time. And let me see if they have a date. I'm not. It's just Metro Goldwyn Mayer. And this, of course, is her and Some Like It Hot. And they've got all the stuff on them. And you punch that button there, and they used to play the song. But I've took the batteries out so they wouldn't get ruined. That's the only two glass ones that I have, or covered ones. And then at another time, she gave me these, which I never used them, on a Christmas tree, but these are all the different Marilyn Monroe figures that you can hang. I really like this one. I think it shows her in a little more fun time. She had a very good physique. As my dad used to say, she was stacked. She was stacked. And then here's a beautiful one. It's got little diamonds on it. I wish y'all could see them better, and I don't know how to do it any better. I've got two more. This one is when she was in, they're all numbered and signed, and I can't read it. I'm sorry, I can't read it. And here she is on the grate, the famous grate. The artistic work in these designs are very beautifully done. If you're not here to see them, you wouldn't understand, but they're beautifully done. Everything about them are just beautiful. They spend a lot of design time on them. They're so old, some of that is peeling off a little bit. Thank you, Linda. Thank you so much. I'm just sitting here trying to entertain y'all. And I'm entertaining myself, so that means a lot. Sherry Long, it's okay. It's all right. As long as you don't call me late for dinner, we'll be all right. Granny Pat says bad weather, snow predicted. Plans may be canceled. Yeah, I don't think y'all need to be out without it unless you got a sled to get in. And I don't think you have a sled, but you might. You never know, Granny Pat. She might have a team of white mules and a sled. I'm trying for Jessica. Granny Pat said she made the dress for her granddaughter. She's a Marilyn Monroe collector. Well, these glass ones, Granny Pat, they sing and play her songs. I don't know if you were on here when I showed them because you showed up after that, but I've got the two that are, you push the button here and it plays her singing those songs. But Of course, I took the batteries out so they wouldn't get ruined because they're very old. And I had noticed, I think, on those batteries that they were kind of becoming corroded when Ronnie Claire gave them to me. So I hurried up and took them out, and I've never started them. I've never put, because it's like 4 of those hearing aid batteries, 4 of the small hearing aid kind of batteries. Debbie Pierce says she's late. I'm late, I'm late, I'm late. No, you're just on time. That's what I always say. Fashionably late or just on time, you know. I'm glad y'all are meeting each other. I figured y'all knew each other or you had seen each other. I don't know. We're all friends here. I don't know, Granny Pat. I'm not for sure they'll be for sale. I don't know. I've not even thought about it. They're very unique. Let's see. I'm looking to make sure I've said hello to everybody, and I guess I have. We've got 32 people on here. That's good. Cheers with tea. T-E-A. Tea. Looks like bourbon, but it's not. I promise you. I'd be a little more jovial than this if I had a shot of bourbon like this. But since I do not drink anymore, we have to settle for iced tea. Mother and I have just kind of stayed in today. We haven't really done a lot. She hasn't done a lot. She hasn't felt real well. She's been getting kind of dizzy. And of course, I mentioned doctor, and she jumped all of me. I'm not going to another doctor. Well, I mean, that's all I know to do to help her. And so I just said, well, you're just going to have to go to the nursing home. You're just going to have to go to the nursing home because I can't put up with it. We laughed. I mean, she don't like going to the doctor, but if I make the appointment, she'll get in the car and off we go. But I'm worried that there is a pinched nerve in her back. We've been through this before. I think there needs to be, and I'm texting the doctor in the morning. I know she's watching this and she'll hear every word of it, but that's fine. I'm going to text him and tell him I feel like they need to have her back x-rayed really well. Maybe an MRI of the nerves in between the vertebrae, because there's something making her back hurt, and it's not the kidney disease. Because when her back hurts, it can get better and it can get worse. If I put the sciatic brace on it, then it gets better. But there is something causing that sciatic nerve to act up, and it's probably when she fell and broke her hip. I'm just got an inkling that it grabbed a small piece of a nerve, and then it's kind of alleviated. So he didn't want her going to any kind of chiropractor, any kind of a masseuse maybe, which she would not like. She will not do it. But if they could find out where that nerve has gotten caught under the edge of the vertebrae, then they would know. And I took acupuncture a long time ago. The lady is not in business anymore, but there's got to be a lot around McKinney and Dallas that do acupuncture, and she really helped me. So I don't think Mother would do it. But if they could figure out about that little nerve and where it's being pinched in the vertebra, and then she gets dizzy. See, that's the other thing, is she'll be hurting and then she gets dizzy. So there's something, the vagus nerve, the sciatic nerve, there's got to be something. We'll figure it out, y'all. We'll figure it out. Sunday night, I don't know what everybody's doing. If you want to tell me, you can. If you don't want to tell me, you don't have to. Jim Evans, love those, Billy. You and Mama looked so fashionable and decked out at the Edith Head event. Thanks for taking me there. Oh, Mother, she's a doll. She really is. Hi, Dee. Hi, Kitty. Yeah, I get her fixed up and off we go. But since my eyes are kind of bad, I may have to kind of not go out in the car too much. They're not that bad, but I don't want them to. Well, if they did, I would stop driving because I wouldn't endanger nobody's life. Kitty says, been there. Has to be an MRI, X-ray. Doesn't show. My surgeon said, don't go near chiropractors. That's what Mother's primary care said. Her bones are probably too brittle. She is her age at 92. She doesn't need that kind of stimulation or anything. He said, no, N-O. So we said no. I said, okay, fine. But I've got to try to get this alleviated because it's been bothering her for months. And she gets okay. And like I've told you about the sciatic nerve, putting the marble on there and all that, it helps her. Yeah, it helps her. But then she gets dizzy. So there's something there. And I'm not, when you said, Kitty, when you said you've been there, I don't know if you got dizzy or not with this situation, but I think a lot of things can happen if you have a pinched nerve in your back. It can make a lot blood pressure high, low, problems. So I've just got to research on my own to try to help my mama. Living my dream said I was watching the Super Bowl. Yeah, I heard it wasn't too good. I don't watch it, but I looked at the score. Sherry Long says, I'm in the recliner with a cozy blanket watching you. Well, you should tune in to Bewitched or Bonanza. You'd enjoy it more than being here, I'll promise you. I'm looking. Yeah, I don't know about that Super Bowl. I never have. My family was not into sports. My father was hard of hearing. And I think that probably all my life, he got it when he was the surveyor of the Aleutian Islands. He got malaria. And when he got malaria, it deafened him. He wasn't totally deaf, but he wore hearing aids in both ears. So, I mean, without his hearing aids, he couldn't. I think he probably read lips. I don't think the hearing aids, but he did say that they cut down on the static. And when we would go to, we didn't go anywhere. That's one reason we didn't go anywhere, y'all, is because it made him so nervous to be in crowds because the sounds were just annoying to him, even with his hearing aids on. So, I really feel like that's why he never was into sports. He would never anything to deal with a crowd. So in return, that left me out of going to any of that. I was not taken to any of that stuff when I was a child. Barely got to go to the county fair. County fair. Oh, I loved the county fair, y'all. Did y'all go to the county fair? Hi, Denise. Oh, I would go, and one of my first art pieces, and I was young. I was probably freshman in high school, maybe a little younger than that. And I decided I was going to do Pinky and Blue Boy. Y'all know those two paintings. Everybody knows those two paintings. Well, I decided on Blue Boy. I didn't want to do Pinky, so I did Blue Boy. This is a big piece. I thought I can do this, and I'll give it to my mother for her birthday, or whatever it was. I think it's probably her birthday, April, and then the fair is like June, July. And so I did that, and I don't know whatever happened to the painting, but I got first place on that at this county fair of oil on canvas. I was so tickled because here's all these great adult artists, and I won out all of them on my Blue Boy. So that's kind of why I decided to study art and design, is because I thought if I can win this award as an artist at the county fair, boy, you is something else, you know. Probably now I'd put in some kind of food or bread or jam or jelly, but back then, of course, I had watched my grandmother cook, and my mother was a good cook, still is. She doesn't do it, but I mean, she probably could. But I would sit on the stool and watch my grandmother cook. And those smells just bring back so many memories. That's why I said one day to all y'all that, you know, when you cook something, like when I did the cream style corn, it just brings you back in a time that you felt comfortable, in a time that you remembered when you were very small and what was going on at that time. It kind of brings it all back to you in a way, and you get that little warm feeling inside. And I think that's why I cook, and I cook for Mother the things that she likes, because I want her to feel that little, it doesn't matter what age you are, feel that little warm feeling, you know, that her mother cooked. My grandmother made the best apricot nectar cake, and I have done it once. I've cooked it quite a few times, not just once, but I think I've got it on and that was when I was very young at camera work. So some of those first videos are terrible, y'all, because I didn't know what I was doing. And they're not much any better now, but at least I've got a great camera to work with, so I'm trying to learn. But I may do that apricot nectar because that's one of my favorite cakes, and I think it's because it brings back memories of my little grandmother in there, stirring that with her wooden spoon and putting it in the pan. And it was a process, because when I grew up at a country grocery store that we had, a lot of times you have to use half a can of apricot nectar juice. Well, it's very difficult to find back then, and it's very difficult sometimes to find now. So you can get one in the can. The Mexican section of the store has apricot juice that you can use. So, but I finally found some apricots. Grandmother used to just buy the apricot nectar juice in a can. Didn't have the apricots in it. And the only place I found is in the Latin section of the store. And there's an apricot, but it's got so much sugar in it. A lot more than what just plain old apricots in their juice. And then I've been taking the juice off, and that's about a half a cup, give or take. But that's one of the best, moistest, wonderfulest bundt cakes. Easy, but boy, it's sure good. We may have to do that because I'm getting hungry for it right now, but I'm too tired. If y'all were here, I might get in there and try to whip us up one, but I'm just a little tired right now. I will, Bonnie. I've got paintings. I've showed them to Granny Pat. I've showed them on here in the infancy of my channel. I used to have one that would hang behind me on the wall. It's my Talking Leaves series, sycamore leaves that I painted. It's the way the Native Americans wrote. They wrote out of a stick on the fire, and they would write on the sycamore leaf. And used to, I would take the big sycamore leaves. They're about like this big off the trees when I could find them. I have to go down on the river and get them. But then I dry them out, and then I will paint onto that leaf. I will paint very small animals. Like it might be a sparrow, or it might be a raccoon, or it might be something native to the area that the sycamore leaf is. And they sold well, and I don't know why I don't do it anymore, because having to get down in that riverbed to go down and try to find those when they're falling off during the fall. You have to get them kind of green, but when it's time for them to fall off, because they're huge. They're huge. Some of them are huge. Mary Caress, hi Billie Jean, you're such a pleasure to watch and to listen to. Such a good son in person. God bless you and your precious mama. Love you. Thank you, Mary. Thank you so much. Granny Pat says, the surprise of my life was seeing my daddy standing at the kitchen sink washing dishes, wearing mama's apron. Well, I never got to see that. My father was too redneck for that. I'm going through, y'all. Just hold on. Denise, Granny Pat, she's wearing her Grinch. Must be wearing her Grinch pajamas that Jessica gave her. Oh, zippity doodle. I know. The apricot nectar. Oh, I love it too. I love pecan pie, but that's so much sugar. But I did find the corn syrup that is doesn't have all that stuff in it, so that's good. You know, I mean, if I can alleviate one little problem in the recipe, then I feel like I've done more than most. It's kind of like my daddy said, son, you can't heal the world, but if you genuinely help one person in your life, that is more than most. So you've done a good job. If you just only, and I try to help everybody I can, you know, and that's because of my mother. She is was always such a loving person. She taught us how to respect our elders, how to not talk about people that was less fortunate than we were, to help them if we could. Dee said, I'd love to see Billie Jean's paintings. I'm waiting for his online sale to buy something of his. I've never had apricot cake. Sounds delicious. I'll have to watch video when Billie's ready. Yum. Dee, I don't know if I'm going to have that sale because everybody's saying on here that it's going to be so much to ship. Y'all can email me at justmebillijean@yahoo.com and tell me if you collect something, if there's some kind of something that you could collect that you would want me to see if I have, I will do that for you. And I may do the sale. Y'all, it's just coming at me so quick. I don't know if I'm washing or hanging out, as I used to tell everybody. Yes, please hit the like button. I thought that, does that not say it? Yeah, please like and share, thumbs up on the whatever. I can make that thing go across. I'm not sure how to do it, but let me see. I think this one is the ticker. and it'll go across the bottom. And we'll take that one off. Let me hide that one. So there. I said hide. See, I've learned something. Used to, I wouldn't even know how to do this. I wouldn't know nothing about this. Zippity Doodah says, I need to look for that recipe in Mama's recipe. Yes, pecan pie Mama's recipe was used by people all over town. Zippity Doodah, the one that we used, I have 2 or 3, but the one that grandmother used was from, I don't know if it was on the Apricot nectar can. I'll tell you where it was from. It was on the, y'all help me, Duncan Hines cake mix box. I think when they first come out in the 40s, this recipe was on the Duncan Hines cake mix box for the one that everybody used for 100 years. Don't worry, Billy. I'll pay the shipping. Let me know if you have any vintage tea items, plates, art, anything vintage. Tea items, I do. Yeah, of course. I've got tea services. If we ever had a tea party, we wouldn't have to worry because I've got all kind of silver and silver plate, beautiful tea services and platters and stuff. But yeah, that apricot nectar cake recipe was off the Duncan Hines, I'm pretty sure. Denise said, I see your message, Granny. Pat, she sent you a private message, Granny. Well, it's supposed to snow. I bet some of y'all are going to be in that snow area besides Granny Pat. It'll start, I think it's tomorrow. So y'all be careful out there if there is this snow, because you know it gets dangerous. And it's not me that I worry about, it's the people that run into me, because I'm Grandpa Grunt behind the wheel. But I get my stuff done before that. I do not drive in it. Yes, Kitty, it is. The lemon supreme cake. That's it. Yep, that's it. That's the one that everybody used. It's kind of like those Jell-O salads that we had. Lord, of course, I was born a little after that, but those Jell-O salads, can y'all just imagine going to a church function and all the women, or I guess mostly women back then would cook, all show up with one version or the other of those darn Jell-O salads? I guess you'd have a Jell-O party. I guess, I don't know, but it's kind of, I just popped into my brain. What happened when everybody showed up with something new and inventive that had become the rage? And that's when I thought, yeah, they probably all showed up with the Jell-O salads, cherry salad. Oh, I love that cherry salad, y'all. That one that's, well, there's one with Cool Whip, but then there's a cherry salad that's got apples and mandarin oranges and pecans and coconut and a lot of that. There's a lot of those salads that we all grew up on, and I still love every one of them. Zippity, I know that lemon supreme cake. That's the good one. That's the good one, y'all. I was just trying to sit here Granny Pat, I was going to ask you, did you find your connector for the earphones? I was laying here and I thought, I need to ask her because I forgot to. It doesn't matter. We'll get it when you get back if you go on your trip. But shoot, there used to be a lot of brownie recipes and Granny said, Lord mercy, it was pineapple, carrot, orange jello, cheap to make. Yeah. You know, I've got that book that one of my other employers that was from Dallas gave me for the Furs cafeteria, White's cafeteria. Then I've got all those, some of those recipes. You know, that Neiman Marcus cookie or cake recipe, that was a ploy. I don't know if y'all ever read that story about that woman paying $100 for something. Well, she didn't, because I knew Stanley Marcus and I asked him point blank, did y'all really charge her? I think it was cookies. No, he said no, it was just a marketing, somebody got a marketing deal out of it. He said no, they did not charge anybody for cookies or anything like that. My grandmother used to go to Carrie Neiman's and get her hats made. She wore hats, you know. And Carrie Neiman, before, it was years ago, probably in the 30s, her and her sisters would go get their hats done. And then later on, of course, Stanley bought Carrie Neiman out. And it became just, he was the one that ran it. And very pleasant, nice man. Him and his wife were both very nice people. And I would see him out in Santa Fe. We would go to the opera out in Santa Fe, and I would see Stanley Marcus and his wife out there. My mother used to make a lemon one where you poked holes and poured Jello with Dream Whip. Yeah, I remember them. Those are the first poke cakes. Granny Pat says Pillsbury Bake Off every year. I still look at the Pillsbury Bake Off. Yeah, it was cookies, wasn't it? They weren't anything special. Everybody, you know, you'd go to, I'm sorry, y'all, but some country people, you'd go to a party and you'd walk in and people would just attack you. Oh, you got to try Bertha May's Neiman Marcus cookies. Some woman paid $100 for those, and you've just got to try these. They are out of this world. They were dry to me. Even then, they were dry and not very good to look at. But you don't say nothing. Oh, yes, those are delicious. My Lord, I wished I had paid the $100 myself. Well, you got a bargain there. Y'all see I'm acting now. Really, it wasn't a bargain. It was, I'd have probably paid them to not make me eat them again because they were dry, the ones that I remember. And there's nothing like a dry cookie. I bet Granny Pat, she thinks mine are dry that I mailed her, because that airplane, I know, does something to cookies. So I haven't mailed them but a couple of times. Now, pecan pies you can mail all the way to Germany, and they're still good. But what is it not to be good? It's all, you know, a thick syrup, thick crust holding a syrup. So it can't deflate, inflate. Melinda says she likes Girl Scout peanut butter cookies and Samoas. You know, I've had Girl Scout cookies maybe twice in my life. And I bought them just because of the Girl Scouts. But I haven't seen Girl Scouts since I was a Boy Scout. I don't know if they still, I guess they're still going. Now, I did know the girl's son that was over that, and his mother was their main person. Karen Wibbin was her name. She was over the Girl Scout. Zippity doo, I love to hear your stories and people you know, Billie Jean, but I know we've got to wait on the book. It was expensive to make those. Really, it was? See, I don't know. I didn't. I mean, if you paid $100, if somebody paid $100, but you're saying the ingredients were expensive, I have no. I don't even know what the ingredients were. So, yeah, I don't know what I would like. Maybe we should look that up and see. Let me see if I can pull it up. It's probably Google. Let me see. We're going to find this out. My phone says it's not charging, but there's no telling why. Let me ask this. Neiman Marcus cookie recipe. It says it cost the woman, here's the story. The chocolate chip, it says, the story goes that a customer was dining at a Neiman Marcus cafe when she asked for the cookie recipe after a taste. What happened next has been an urban legend for decades, but it appears we have a glimpse into the mystery of the Neiman Marcus recipe. The way the story goes, the 250 story, my aunt was the one who was charged for it. However, the true cookie recipe is a bit different. She bought 2 salads, a scarf, and asked to buy the recipe. The waitress said she could if she paid $2.50. My aunt assumed it meant $2.50. So she called the accounting office at Neiman Marcus after receiving the bill, and they refused to refund her. So she told them that she was going to have $250 worth of fun with the recipe. She printed it in our family cookbook and gave the recipe out to everyone she could think of and told them to give it out to others. So there you have it. I assure you that the story is true, but like I said, the real recipe is slightly different. Okay. We know it's a bunch of poop. I don't know who wrote that, because I got it from the horse's mouth before he passed on. Now, this is the ingredients that, see, she said it was 2 different recipes. So that should throw up a red. Half a cup unsalted butter, 1 cup of brown sugar, 3 tablespoons of white sugar, 1 egg, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 1 3/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of salt, 1/2 teaspoon of instant espresso coffee powder, 1/2 cups of semi-sweet chocolate chips. Preheat the oven to 375 and grease your cookie sheet. Tells you how to mix it all together. You should have 12 to 15 large cookies. Cookies should be 1.5 to 2 inches apart. Now don't forget that. Bake for 8 to 10 minutes in preheated oven. For crispier cookies, bake 2 minutes longer. Remove from the baking sheet to cool on a wire rack. Didn't get a glass of milk, is what I say. I see them. They just don't look too. They might be really good, but for $250, I'm not saying no more about that. Granny Pat, she's always trying to get me to go buy stuff that's already pre-made. How about the Toll House cookies? I told her I'm not going to buy. It's just not in me to buy stuff that's already pre-made because you've got all that stuff in there that we don't need. Every time Toll House mixes up a batch of their cookies, Granny Pat, they're going to throw in some stuff that we do not need. So if you make it at home, I can control what's in my Toll House cookies. And I'll just stick with it because that would be a lot easier if there is a recipe that I haven't done that I like, and it's for y'all. This is another old time, kind of in that same era, and y'all will remember it. You remember the icebox cookies? I know y'all know what I'm talking about. It's the cookies that have the pecans in it. And you roll them in a log and you put them in wax paper and you put them in the freezer. And then when little boys like me would come home from school, you cut them, put them in the oven and bake them just for a few minutes. And voila, we had cookies all the time. But they were homemade, kind of like Toll House before there was ever Toll House or whatever. But that's a good cookie recipe. The icebox cookie, y'all can find that on the Google. Makes good cookies. Add to them. I always add. Now I'll add little cranberries to them, or blueberries, raisins. In each batch, out of that dough, you can make a nice smorgasbord of cookies to take to a church function, library function, something like that. With the same dough, you just divide it in portions and then mix your different flavors or what you want into that, because that's a very forgiving dough and it's very good. And people kind of like you throw that flour in your face when they used to make those Rice Krispie treats, and the girl comes out and I've just worked all day on these. So you can do it with that one cookie recipe. If you're not an expert baker, use the icebox cookie, and then you'll have them when the kids come home or when company comes over. Just get in there with your knife and cut them off and put them in your little oven. And oh, Melinda, I can't right now. I'm too exhausted. Maybe it says a TH story, Toll House story. How about the Toll House cookie? Now, I've already told one story. You're the storyteller. Look that up, and I want you to do that on your video, the Toll House cookie Granny Pat story. Oh, gosh. I'm looking. I've got to get back over here where I am on here so I can see what y'all are saying to me. Yeah, lots of ingredients you don't necessarily always have, or that's what I remember. Kitty says, how about cowboy cookies? Anyone? Oatmeal, chocolate chip, and butterscotch. I think with a piece of candied cherry on top. I used to make some kind of little cookie with a candied cherry on top. Kitty says it's hard to find anyone overweight in movies and newsreels from the 30s, 40s, and 50s. People in general are thin. Some think it's all the additives that messes with people's metabolism. It is. It is, and that's why we have cancer so much. That's why we have autism so much. That's why we have so many autoimmune disorders, because of the metal cans we're eating out of, because of the byproducts that are in the products. And I've told y'all the stories about stuff. I think now we're not going to ever know with this new head of whatever. But, I wanted them to do 20 years ago, I had written letters. I wanted them to do research on basic ingredients, or the main ingredients of basic foods. I wanted to see how much of that was detrimental to our bodies. Okay, like I told y'all about the makeup, just because it says hyperallergenic, that's all that means is that they tried it on 100 people and only 10 was allergic to it. So if that 10, now if it's 12, it might not work, but if it's 10, it's under that guideline that the FDA said, okay, you got to have this in hyperallergenic product. So if you do 10% and no one breaks out, then we're going to consider it hyperallergenic and we'll let you label it that way. Well, think about our food. These manufacturers do not give a damn about how you feel, what is going on with your autoimmune disorder. They don't care about if children are obese. They don't care about if I'm obese. They're selling their, let's say, biscuit and cookies. They don't care. So that's why I'd rather do it at home. At least I know that I've got flour, sugar, butter, cinnamon, pecans, and of course I use the aluminum-free baking powder because I think that was what was aggravating the rash on my legs, and for 5 years I thought it was some kind of autoimmune. So I stopped the aluminum and stopped using the baking powder that had aluminum in it, and my legs cleared up. I hadn't changed anything else. So there's something we can all do is try to cook at home for yourself or your kids, or stay away from that McDonald's, stay away from all that stuff because it's bad for you. It's really bad for you. Yeah, Bonnie, fast food, it's got all that stuff in it. Granny Pat, why are you calling me Judy Garland? Or why did you say Judy Garland? You've got to tell me in sentences. I can't read minds, not this evening. Now, tomorrow evening, I'll be a soothsayer. I'll be a fortune teller, and I'll read your mind. But today, I've took that cap off, my mind-reading cap, so you're going to have to spell it out for me today. As much as I'm trying to get in on that, I'm not sure why you said Judy Garland. Maybe it's a movie. We're going to play charades here. Maybe has 3 syllables. I'm not sure. Debbie Tanner says, hello, Granny Pat. Sarah, hello. Yes, you're right. I'm glad somebody agrees with me. Thank you. Anybody that agrees with me, they get 2 points. Good. Oh, that thing's driving me crazy going across that bottom. We're stopping that. I'm not going to mess with that. It's going. Now, Granny Pat, where did that come from? They killed her with all the drugs. Yeah, they did. That is true. Well, she wasn't big as a minute when she passed away. Her legs look like skeleton legs. If you see her in London with that last husband she had, getting out of the car the day before she passed away, I've seen that photograph. So you have to, she did it to herself though. I don't think they did it to her. I think she popped too many pills and drank too much liquor. There's a lot of actresses that have gone. There's a lot of people that's gone from popping pills and drinking too much liquor, especially in those time periods. And smoking. She smoked like a train. Bleeding Goat. Hi, Billy. Just wanted to show some love from Norman, Oklahoma. My mom, my brother, and I watch you and Granny Pat daily. Well, we're glad that you do. I'm glad you do. I like Norman. I go through there not very often anymore. I used to. If I go to Oklahoma City, then of course you go through Norman. Sarah said I was laughing about you saying I'm not a mind reader. Alan, good night. It has been 55 minutes, so Bonnie says she would like to have the money she's given McDonald's. Well, try not to give them any more if you can. I mean, it's just easy. That's what they do, y'all, is they make it easy for us, just like Granny's Toll House cookies. You know, one thing that my aunt always told me, she worked for the Pentagon. She was a very shrewd business lady. She's used this. I'll tell you, when I was a kid, I would go stay with her out at White Rock Lake. No, Lake Ray Hubbard. And she's the one that worked for Mr. Owens, the sausage man, and where the llama spit on me that time. But she got on this diet. Now, I'm going to tell y'all, health food and junk food, you have to just mix it in a little. Because if you're too healthy, you're sick. If you eat too much junk food, you can get sick. But my aunt got on this diet that was called the Dr. Pritikin's diet. And I would go down there in the summers, and that would be like something we would have spaghetti noodles, just spaghetti noodles with heated tomato sauce. No salt, no pepper, no oregano, no nothing, but hot tomato sauce onto plain white spaghetti. No garlic toast, no bread, and water with lemon. Now, I had to endure that. At least I got to go to the city, but when I did, I had to endure that. So thank God that my other aunt on my father's side lived next door. If it hadn't been for her vanilla, Coke float, milkshakes, I think I would have died, and y'all would not get to hear me, because one aunt was to the extreme, just like an old maid school teacher. The other was like my mother, just sweet and, but you didn't say nothing to cross. So I've been to both sides of it. So healthy food is good, just don't overdo it. Junk food is, I'll eat it if I am on the road. But other than that, now I do like Ritz crackers, the wheat ones. So I have some problems too with Ritz crackers. But basically we try to stay kind of healthy around here, if we can at all. Well, I hope all of y'all have a good week. Mother and I don't have anything planned. I hope they come and get our sick automobile and do whatever they want to, because I can't deal with that situation right now. And I'll just let them take care of it, and I take care of Mama. So we'll talk to you this week. I'm going to try to get that chili relleno and Mexican rice video finished uploading. And I'm about ready to make something sweet, but we'll see. Yeah, Kitty, everything's good on Ritz. I like it with just peanut butter and honey on a Ritz. And wonder my waist is not as fluffier than it is. You have a good week too, living my dream. All of you. We'll talk to you soon. I'm going to go so I can get Mom her medicine, because it's 10:30. We've been on here 59 minutes and 47 seconds. God bless you all. God bless the United States, because we do need it. and we left.